help us support our sponsors. I'd like to thank Tailgas Plumbing and Heating, but also Kingpin Clothing for their loyal support. Go check the guys out and give them a follow. So yes, welcome back to the Dad Podcast. Today with Paul Alexander on. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Marty. How are you?
I'm good as well. But we're talking about the heat there just before we come on. I was cracking up at 28 degrees, but were yours a bit warmer?
Just a bit, mate. Just a bit. We're sitting at about 45, 46 degrees at the minute. So
that's good. Have you got aircon?
Yes, mate. Everywhere's aircon, to be fair. Which is
mate. Talking about that, I was going to buy a container of fucking fans this year just to sell them because this time of year is mental for it, and I didn't do it. And I went on to get myself one with none left. So I was thinking, I should have done that, but here we are, sitting roasting in my kitchen.
That food outside here at the minute, it's unbearable. That's the downside. Yeah, 4 months of living over here. Too hot, mate. I'm not exactly blessed with wonderful tan and skin either. Do you know what I mean? I struggle.
Alright, skin, mate.
That's it, mate. That's it.
Try having no hair, man, as well. Fuck's sake, I'm like, it's like a beacon, just goes red, I have to put sun cream all day, every day in that summer now,
Yeah, I'm going that way. Don't worry about it. I'll be there. I'll do the honesty cut.
Hang in there, mate. So as I said, we're going to cover the sort of grieving, the grief, and sort of, me and you both got something in common. We both lost our fathers, but what we're going to do, as I said, I always get you to sort of get the guys to go back to the very start. If you want to tell me, for anyone who doesn't know you, who you are and what the crack is.
Yeah, so obviously, as you mentioned, my name is Paul Alexander. Grew up in Lisburn, Marty, like yourself.
Yeah.
Now living in Dubai.
Yep.
I moved from home to England back in 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
Spent about 8 years in England, and then took the plunge and to move over here in 2018.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No worries, mate. No. So you're well travelled, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, not too bad. Not too bad.
I would call it down, but yes, sort of going right back to the Fry Start as well. We've covered something obviously off camera, but you were actually adopted. And what age did that happen at?
Correct, Marty. So I was adopted at the age of 3 months, actually. Yep. So I was born in September '86, and I was adopted in January '87. So, as far as I'm concerned, it was the best thing that ever happened. Do you know what I mean? I was, I had an unbelievable upbringing, 2 unbelievable parents, and sisters, and I just had a great life. So as far as I'm concerned, being adopted at that age, give me the life that I have now, and the memories that I have, and the family that I have, which honestly, mate, I wouldn't swap for anything.
Yeah, fantastic, mate. As you know, it's you got an opportunity there, yourself, and you say you're going to be a loving family, a family basically. And I remember even speaking to Shane Matthews, our friend who's with a similar friend there, and he was in the same boat. And I think he stole one of your lines from your wedding, didn't he? His best man speech. And I remember it near brought tears to me. I was like, "That's fantastic!" And I said, "Where did you get that?" It was stolen from Paul Alexander.
He did it well. It was, I said it at my wedding. I think the line was, "They say that you can't pick your family."
That's right.
But obviously, your family. We're lucky enough that our family, picked us.
That's right. It was fantastic.
He's a very good friend of mine, and we do talk about it. We do talk about it a lot. He's had some movement and stuff, finding out a few things on his side. In terms of mine, to be honest with you, I've no real interest. I think I'd probably, if I see my birth mother or father, I'd probably shake their hand and say thanks very much.
Yeah. And that's you're in a fortunate position, and that sounds mad to say that, because you did get your family out of it, as you said. And we're talking off camera, you said you've never really went looking. You went looking in certain areas, but you've never really got no answers.
No, mate, none. It's kind of hard to explain. Like, if basically if you're born before 1985, it's a lot easier to get access to your birth records. Obviously, I was born in 1986, so it was during COVID. I reached out. The company that I was adopted, basically the company I was adopted through, don't exist anymore. So it was passed to what's the health trust in Lisburn now, Southeast.
Yes, something like that. Yeah.
So it basically handed over to them. And I spoke to a few social workers and whatnot. And, you have to meet them in person. You have to do an interview. You have to jump through so many hoops, etc. And obviously, I'm over here. And at that time, COVID, you couldn't travel, etc. So it's just like, it's a sign. It's not meant to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't want to meet my birth father and my birth mother for sure, but I know I do have a brother, which don't know. It's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place,
Yeah.
It's not his fault. So I'll tell you very quickly. So my parents lived in Andersonstown, in Andytown at the time.
Yeah.
When they adopted me, but had to move. So we actually had to move to Lisburn because my brother was within a 10-mile radius of where we lived.
Yeah.
So basically, the adoption agency and the court said, "Listen, you can't be within a certain distance." These boys are obviously from the same situation.
Yeah.
So, and that's how my family ended up in Lisburn actually, and moved away. Now I do know I have a brother. He is older.
Yeah.
But what do you do? Like, I've no interest, like I said, in the mother and father. The brother, it's not his fault. He's in the same situation as me, and has he lost a parent? Is he going through some sort of grief, or has he got a family? Does he want to kind of reach out and stuff as well? But like I said, they just seem to make it really, really difficult to kind of access those things, and it is understandable to an extent, But I don't know, mate. It's just something that it does play on my mind. And listen, my family are unbelievable. They've said we'll back you 100%. Anything you want from us, we'll back you. Go and do it. I'm very lucky that way. I didn't want to upset my mum and stuff like that, but no, they've been great. But at the moment, I've got nothing. Absolutely nothing.
So then tell me about your... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The weird thing is, mate, if he's a couple of years older than me, could he have played football, or could he... You're only, nowadays, mate, you're only 3 or 4 people away from knowing someone in the whole of Belfast and Lisburn, never mind, down the road.
You're so right, mate. And you always find a common ground with somebody, don't you? Talking about that, I was training with a lad, right? We got chatting away, and then yourself, your first day training with him in terms of in the gym. I was like, right, it was through a PT, and next thing we had common ground when you're a fella together. Next thing, bang, you're like a house on fire. Same situation as you said. I bet you, did you ever go out and play and think I could be 2 foot my brother here? And you never know.
That's what I mean. No, but okay, it is what it is. I'm not going to dwell on it too much. I've got important things that are happening in my life and stuff at the moment, which are great. So, maybe a bit further down the line.
Yeah, you never know. You might, as you said, like you got a wave there at one stage, maybe about your brother and things. But as you said, it might come across at some stage. But you said, what about your 2 sisters? Then, what age are they?
My 2 sisters are older, so 50, 52.
Yeah,
51.
Yeah, and I have 2 sisters as well, and one of them's it's her birthday today, actually, Monday. What is the Kelly come? I think she's 44. She's 10 years older than me, and then my sister Leanne's 41. If I've got that wrong, fuck it, keep me here. But but having 2 sisters, mate, it had its perks, didn't it? For me, anyway. In the summers, Kelly moved at a young age, but Leanne was still there working in a banking thing, so I'd have left a wee note in the morning, going to golf today, Leon, could you like give me a tenner? And they'd see the excitement looking down the stairs, like 11 years old, thinking, please be a tenner on this table. And there was. Yes. Or again, if she was around the same age as me, it wouldn't be happening.
I'd still tap up my sisters if I go home now.
Why not?
They're great. And I've got a niece who's I've got 6 nieces and nephews, but they're all of legal drinking age now. So that's but I've got a niece who's 33.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Basically like my sister, and like I said, just having always had family around, always good family around and stuff, mate. And that's why family's really important to me. And when we spoke about speaking on this podcast, like if we can help anyone with who has gone through a grief, it doesn't have to be a father, like any family member, it would be great.
As you said, like again, it's we both lost our dads. As you know, like my dad died in 2006. Yours was 2011. I did speak off camera. I was able to have a conversation at a party one night, and we were talking about, but your dad died, as you said, 2011. It was pretty sudden, wasn't it? And I actually read a part of what you told me, and you came home that weekend. Did I read that right, or was it the weekend before?
Yeah. No, you're bang on, mate. So I was over at Preston University. I was finishing off my degree.
Yeah.
And it was coming up to Easter. So I came home on the Friday, and came home on the Friday, everything was fine, and then it was actually on the Saturday we were going to. Do you remember Sense?
Cookstown.
Yeah. So we were going to Sense. All the boys were home. I'm quite a close knit friend, close knit mates. And all the boys were home, and all the lads were right. Jump on the bus, get down to Sense, have a good night out and whatnot. And it was my mum and dad were actually thinking of moving house, so they were getting a load of stuff out of the roof space. And I was helping my dad that day before I went. The sweat was pissing off of me, like I talking absolutely pissing off him. He said, "Are you all right?" He said, I'm fine, whatever. I didn't have a pot to piss in there, mate. Obviously, as a student. Yeah. I said to my dad, "Dad, I'm going to Sense. Throw us a few quid." Right? I swear to God, throw us a few quid, not a problem. Done. And then, obviously, off we go. Bus down to Sense, brilliant. Everyone's in good form. Get in there, and I didn't have any phone signal in there, mate. It's quite a big place, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then, just having a good night and whatnot, and then I went out into the smoking area, stood with Michael Galt, and I looked down at my phone, mate, and I had like 27 missed calls from my sister and my partner at the time from her sister, trying to get hold of me. I said, "Well, what's going on here?"
Yeah.
So I've actually walked out the front because I still couldn't get a signal to ring. So I walked out the front. I said to Michael, I was like, "Mate, there's fear, come with me here." And I rung my sister's phone. It was my brother-in-law. He had answered the phone. He said, "Paul, listen, you need to get home. You need to get down to the hospital with your dad."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, obviously, I was drunk.
Yeah.
What's happened?" And he was like, "You need to get in. You need to get it. Just get here. Just get here as quickly as you can." I was like, "Tell me what's happened." He's like, "Just get in it. Just get here." That's all he said to me. And you know yourself, mate, in the middle of Cookstown, miles away from home.
Yeah.
I didn't have the money to get a taxi.
Yeah.
I didn't have the money to get a taxi. Michael Galt literally grips me by the scruff of the neck, chucks me in a taxi, jumps in with me, straight to the Lagan Valley. I still owe Galty that taxi money, actually.
He'll hit you for it too.
Yeah, he reminds me quite a lot. Straight to Lagan Valley. I've transferred him to the Royal. So Michael dropped me off with my sisters. Obviously, I've got in. No one's there apart from my brother-in-law. He waited on me.
Yeah.
And he was like, "I said, you need to be prepared here. Your dad's had a heart attack," and he said to put him in the coma.
Yeah.
Mate, bang, sobering experience. It was like I hadn't had a drink.
Yeah.
It was like I hadn't had a drink. I don't know why. And was just, I remember it so clear. And obviously, fucking hell, I don't know what would have happened if Michael hadn't been there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would have got back. So you have to wait on the bus till like 3 in the
Or
morning.
if you'd have been in England, mate, as well.
Exactly. And if you'd have been in England, so yeah, I just went down to the hospital. Mate. The whole family's there. And I'm there, probably stinking of booze still in my clothes from the night out.
Yeah.
And he was in the ICU down at the Royal. And then from there, mate, it was just 5 days of, it was basically 5 days just rolled into one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was, but I was at that point, I was like, that's fine. He's had a heart attack.
Yeah.
He needs to slow down. He'll be all right. He'll be in a couple of days. You just need to kind of keep an eye on him. And they can't tell you anything, Marty, can they? They can't tell you anything. Like, you can't say, oh, well, my mum, God love her, like she doesn't have a clue about science or anything like that. All she's heard is heart attack. She's like, is he going to live? What time is he getting home? When can we take him home? All this, and instant panic. My mum, they were like 42 or 43 years married then.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did leave a hospital, mate, for about 3 days.
Yeah.
And my niece would go home or my sister would go home, get my clothes and bring them down. And yeah, it was a blur, mate. To be honest, back now, it is just a massive blur. Like, I remember pacing up and down the hospital about 3 o'clock in the morning, just walking the corridors of the hospital. Just couldn't sleep. And then, yeah, it's just, it's a feeling, mate, that you can't describe.
Yeah. Did you have a cloud, like a cloudage over your head with all this going on?
That is exactly what I had, mate.
Has that ever left you, that cloud? If you know what I mean? Has it ever lifted?
Do you know what? I think when I finally accepted what had happened.
Yeah.
Now that took me a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about this 5 stages of grief,
Yeah.
And obviously the acceptance is the last part. But I don't think I fully accepted that until years after, like.
Yeah. So I'm asking about that, obviously that fogginess, because I just remember myself even, like I just remember just going, fuck, something just changed in my brain that minute, bang. I mean, I've never really felt that lift, but when you're saying, I've never really seen that 5 stage of grief, did you say, sorry?
Yeah.
I've never seen that before, but again, it's just thinking about that cloud, as you said, and you're shattered, like obviously, aren't you? Your mind's gone, and you obviously had a period of 5 days. Like Paul, mine was literally from giving him a hug to go up the stairs, ringing my girlfriend, and hearing the screaming. That was literally when a space of, we were going to watch football all the next day, so from a space of like 10 minutes going to have the weekend of my life with my dad, basically, first day out on the piss together, probably. Like that, where you had 5 days in misery. It was 5 days, did you say there? From so I can't picture what that would be like.
It's amazing, whether it was 5 days or whether it was one day. I'm sure we both felt very, very similar.
Yeah.
Did I have a little bit more time to process what happened? Yeah, probably than you did. But it still shocks you no matter what. And I kind of like when my dad took a heart attack in his sleep. Like what was it? No, probably about 11 o'clock at night. And my mum had to pull him out of the bed. She heard it. My mum had to pull him out of the bed and try to give him CPR. And what kind of hung over me for a long, long time, mate. And I still think about it now, to be honest. What if I had been at home?
Yeah.
My mum's 5'2". She's tiny.
Yeah.
My dad was, not a small guy. Like,
yeah.
Does my mum know proper CPR? I was doing science at university. First aid trained, etc. They say if someone's having a heart attack in their sleep, those first couple of minutes are vital for CPR because obviously pumps oxygen back into the brain.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with Dad. There wasn't enough oxygen that got to his brain, like in that amount of time. And well, if I hadn't went out that night, would my dad still be here now? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not bigger and stronger than what he was. I
Yeah.
could have pulled him out of it, done it, like things like that. And
it's only natural to think like that, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, of course it is. It's yeah, and that's still kind of that angered me. That's one of the 5 stages of grief is obviously anger.
Yeah.
And that angered me along with why did he slow down? Like my dad was, man, he was an unbelievable man. Obviously, like brilliant. He was involved in Hillsborough Boys all the time when I was there. But he worked every hour under the sun, mate. He was a shipping agent down at Harland Wolff for a company.
Yeah.
And he loved his job, and he'd been in for like 40 years.
Yeah.
He was 62 years of age, mate. He was still on call 24/7, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, I would be in the bedroom next to him when I was living at home. And I'd hear the phone go. I'd hear him come in at 11 o'clock at night, and the phone would go off 4 o'clock in the morning. He's up and out.
Yeah.
And I think then I was angry. I was angry at him. I was like, why the fuck are you still fucking doing this at 62 years of age? Like, slow down.
Yeah.
And what if he hadn't have worked fucking night and day for so long? You know, did that have an effect on it? You know,
Yeah.
all these things, mate, running through my brain. And that's wasn't when I say anger, I wasn't angry at other people. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't snappy or anything like that. I was angry at myself, and then I started feeling guilt.
Yeah.
At being angry at him.
Yeah.
Kind of, why the fuck didn't you slow down? If you had to slow down, you wouldn't be dead. If you weren't dead, no, we wouldn't be heartbroken.
Yeah.
And all these things, mate, just ran through my brain. And
how long for? Do you mind me asking?
Sorry.
How long for? How long was that process?
There's no, for me, there's some of it that comes back now because I have a daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I hear you, mate. Yeah.
And when things like Father's Day come up, or like I don't know how to explain it. Like I don't get jealous of people on like family holidays, seeing people like their dad. I don't get jealous. I think it's amazing. But part of me always thinks, my dad missed my wedding. My dad was the birth of my daughter, and he didn't see me graduate.
Yeah.
And the thing is, mate, when I played football, he was on call, obviously, but he travelled anywhere to watch me. He dropped everything. And I played at Armagh.
Yeah.
We had games up at Port Stewart and Armagh or whatever. And even the brief spell when I was in Cliftonville for a few months, and I was on the bench for the first team or whatever. He knew I was never going to play.
Yeah.
I would never cross that white line. He didn't care. He'd come down.
Yeah.
He'd come down, and even when I was in Hillsborough, he travelled to Sweden with us all the time.
That's right.
It was just, he literally just would have done anything. So for him to miss out on my graduation, the birth of my daughter, he never met my wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like at my wedding and things. So do I still get a bit angry? No, but it does upset me a bit.
Yeah.
It does upset me. And listen, like you've just said, man, I'm sure I can't speak for you, but I'm sure sometimes you think something similar.
Oh yeah, and we were talking about it again, but I said to you, I'd found out when my dad passed that funny enough, he was been taking medicine, like heart tablets, for a couple of years, whatever it was, and I found out that he had stopped taking them. So I went through the same phase as you. I was very annoyed, and then I used to have dreams where I was shouting at him, and I'd wake up in bits thinking, fucking hell, I can't believe I've done that in my dream. I've literally hammered it. Like, fuck you. I've relived this funeral in my dream and everything. It's all sorts of crazy dreams, and I wonder, like, was that all part of the stage? And same thing where what went on the where we're going to talk about a subject as well. The drinking. I was looking at going out. Yourself. I wasn't a student, mate, but I worked, and then I was just basically a student while I worked because I literally went out 4 nights a week like students do. But again, I was finding myself crying in corners of nightclubs and just getting angry then, and all that sort of came in. But we talked about the drink, and I actually only realised that a few years ago that I think I was masking my pain. The drink was just literally getting me out of my mind. Yeah, and then that again, football, 90 minutes, not thinking about anything else other than playing football or watching Liverpool. It kept you sane, But yeah, the drink was a big thing as well, and you touched on that, obviously.
Yeah, you've hit two of the things there, right? Football and obviously alcohol. Like, now, I would never. Still to this day, mate. I don't have a beer in the house or anything. I don't drink at home, right?
Yeah.
Nor would back then. Like, I never kind of sat in on my own and got absolutely hammered. But I worked in bars when I went back to England. I worked in bars. I was, around. I just wanted to any chance I could have for a night out to bring me some sort of happiness or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm there. I don't care if it's a Tuesday, a Thursday, a Saturday. If I've got work the next day or whatever, I'm there. And it was just to kind of drift away for a while, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, mate. Like, I wasn't smashing bottles of vodka every day or anything like that. Like, I wouldn't have said I was an alcoholic by any means, but it's just any chance I got to be with people in that kind of environment where everyone's having a good time, and you put your mask on essentially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you put your mask on, and it's very, very easy to hide behind a mask.
Big time, especially when you have a pint in your hand. You're the life of the party, and you're fucking crumbling.
I'd like to think I'm good company, for a pint, the same as yourself, Marty. But all that stuff behind that mask, and like behind this skin, people don't see the thoughts that are like running through your head of just sadness and I just can't question things. Like it was mad, and it wasn't. But when I met my wife, and when I went back to England, this carried on for about, I'd say probably a good year.
Yeah.
Just gone out all the time. And, thank God she did. She kind of just pulled me aside. She was like, sort your shit out.
Yeah. You need that, mate, sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm very grateful for that. And that's why she's my wife. She doesn't tiptoe around. She'll tell you how it is. And, it's exactly what I needed. I was getting a few quid for football, not an awful lot. I was working part-time at the bar when I went back to England as well, and then just picking up a few quid here and there. Nothing, mate. I had nothing, and I was just drinking it. I was just going out and just drinking it. And then she said to me, "They sort of shit out. Seriously, sort of, because what are you doing?" And I wasn't young when I went to uni, Marty. Like, I was 24 when this happened. And I kind of fell into the job that I'm in now. I fell into it by pure accident, and happened to be been out for like 11 years. So it has worked out really well. But it's just like you say about hiding behind that mask. I mean, I've done it for a while.
Yeah.
And even, especially to my mates, my group of mates, a group of like 7 of us, we're all quite
brilliant.
But boys would ask you, "Oh, mate, how you doing? Like, are you okay?" And people would ask me, "Am I all right?" afterwards, and I'd just be like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine."
We got cut off there. Soon gives you 40 minutes, so we got cut off, mate. My apologies. But yeah, we're talking about, obviously, the friends sort of asking, "Is everything okay?" And your generic answer, as always, is, "Oh yeah, fine."
Yeah, listen, I could talk to him about anything, mate, but I just didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to be a burden on anyone, mate. Like I didn't want to bring someone else down. Like
Yeah,
that's the way that I felt. I was like, I'm not that. My missus always says to me, she's like, how come you never cry at films, or how come like,
yeah,
I'm not. I'm just not that kind of person, really.
yeah,
But I just to the lads, I don't, I couldn't do it. The only time I ever spoke to it, I've spoke to my wife about it,
yeah,
in bits and pieces, not fully,
yeah,
in bits and pieces. And when I came after my dad had died, I had to go back to university and finish my degree. So
yeah,
2 weeks later, I had to provide a death certificate, and then to get an extension on my dissertation and do 2 exams. That was 2 weeks after my dad passed away. Mate,
yeah,
I didn't give a shit about them exams at that time. Thankfully, don't know how, I managed to pass, and I got my degree. Then I came back home. And we're in the same house. The move from my mum and dad didn't go ahead. We're in the same house, and I needed a job.
yeah,
I went and worked in a call center, and you know, it just wasn't for me, mate. Not for me, and that's not against anyone that works in call
yeah,
centers or anything like that. Like I was on the train on the way back, pulling up. I was at the Murray station, about to getting off at I was heading to Lambeg to get off. I just broke down on the train, mate.
yeah.
I broke down on the train. I couldn't for the life tell you why.
Okay.
That was about 3 months. It was about 3 months after. And
Yeah,
I went back and I walked from Lambeg. So I lived in Harmony Hill at the time. Walked from Lambeg up Harmony Hill. I walked in, my mum was there. And I just said, I need to get out of here.
yeah.
I said, I can't stay here anymore.
Do you think that's
How
why
self
you have stayed away? Do you reckon you're run away, as you said?
I felt, yeah, I felt really selfish,
Yeah,
And I thought to myself, am I running away here?
yeah,
Like my mum has just lost her husband, her soulmate, who she's been with for over 40 years, and I'm leaving her in the shit for after 3 months.
I don't
Do you
know.
know what I mean? And
Yeah,
and that kind of doesn't haunt me.
yeah,
That's the wrong word, but I kind of looking back now. I mean, obviously, you get older, you mature a lot more, and
yeah.
I left my sisters, and I left my whole family there just to get away. It was on
Like
my own.
did you ever have the thing of, you're now the man of the family in your head, thinking you got to step
100%.
up now and you weren't ready?
Yeah,
Aye.
100%. And I think that did it. I said I need to be a man of the family, and yeah, it was just I didn't, like you said, mate. I wasn't ready, but
Yeah,
I don't think I was grieving at that time.
yeah,
I even though I did, even though I just broke down on the train, I got quite upset, but I don't think I was grieving properly at that time, mate.
yeah,
I just wanted to get away. Even though my mates and all were still there and things, I was like, I just need to get out of here, man.
yeah.
And I, for the life of me, mate, I couldn't tell you why.
Hmm.
That was in my head. I was just adamant, and I spoke to my mum, and my mum was like, "Just go,
Yeah,
just go,"
yeah,
And
yeah,
my mum's a saint, mate. She's like she do anything for anyone, and I think
yeah.
she just wanted. I think I kind of worried her that to see me quite that upset. But yeah, so I signed up to do a PGC, a teaching degree in Preston, and went there and lasted 4 weeks, mate.
Did
Lasted
you?
4 weeks. Yeah, lasted 4 weeks doing that. Head was up my arse.
Yeah,
Just wanted to. Still thought I was a student. Just wanted to go out, picking up a few quid here and there.
yeah.
Waste. What a waste. But thankfully that led me to meet my wife, and she kind of pointed me in the right direction, sorted me out, and
Man, like everything happens for a reason, like even,
100%.
I tell you this all the time. I believe in fate, big believer of it. Like you turn left and right, there's different things around each corner, whether how big or small they are. You picked that
Yeah,
weekend to come home, and your dad took ill. Why did not pick the weekend after? There's always a reason why you know, why things happen. And again, going to Preston 4 weeks, you're thinking, fuck, I've wasted my time there. But again, as you said, you've met your wife. Where if you didn't go, you stayed here. You know, it all leads to everything else. I know that sounds a bit deep and mad, but I believe in that massively. Just like the wee chances that come up, you know, and you just don't know what's for you, you know. But
Yeah.
or sorry, what's for you and go by you. But yeah, I mean that's very interesting, especially getting away. You know, my sister Leanne, you know, made me saying like when we our stepfather passed, you know, Leanne literally straight away, bang, we she went Portugal, you know, gone. No interest in Portugal or India, one of the others. She went to two different countries and then settled in Portugal. Could never come home, just ran away, you know, and it was the same thing. She just needed to go. She was fine. She was just slumping here, and you know, it's again, it must be a part of grieving, I suppose, as well.
That's yeah, and that's why like did I move away to fill a void? And then when I when we set up in Preston, you know, we bought a house and
Yeah,
you know we had a really nice life, both had really good jobs and stuff. And but then you know an opportunity obviously over here in Dubai came up, and then you know my sister said to me one day, she's like, "If you just moved, like you moved to Dubai, which is amazing, your job," she's like, "Are you trying to fill some sort of gap?
uh,
You trying to fill some sort of void?" And maybe I am. I mean, I couldn't tell you. You know,
yeah,
maybe subconsciously I am, but yeah, it's mad. It is mad, and you know, grief does, you know, not strange things, but it affects people in so many different ways. Right? You know, when we spoke about, you know, talking about this today, the reason I wanted to is because I know I've had people reach out to me who have lost parents,
mm,
and you know, have asked me a few questions. And I remember a young lad I played football with when I was in Preston. He was so good at football, he's brilliant.
yeah,
He, he lost his mother, and he couldn't deal with it. And unfortunately, you know, he took his own life after
yeah,
that. And that now, you know, thankfully, you know, I've never been in that situation where I've ever had to or anything like that. You know, I'm I'm able to talk to my family, and you know, I've got good friends around me, and you know, I try to have a strong head. But there's just some people out there who, you know, who really struggle, you know, that bad. And I just wanted to kind of tell people
yeah,
it's normal to feel all these things. It is normal to feel angry and upset, and you know, you are the most important person in you know in your life. If you're not
yeah,
good within yourself, how can you be good with your son or your wife
big
or your
time.
partner, daughter? You know, and you know, I've recently, you know, I've started to take a real interest in kind of self care.
Yeah.
It's a massive for me, mate, and I never really done that before.
You know what's mad, mate? There'll be men watching this that won't even know. Let's say they don't know what it is, but they won't know what they need to do when it comes to self care. You know, I met a lad one day, he's a counsellor. I met him in a shop. He was going to the motorway at Belfast, taxi go. And he says, like, what are you at the day, mate? He goes, I'm heading to Belfast. He goes, I said, I'm going to Belfast here for a meeting. He says, I had two meetings, but both got cancelled. And he said, so I've just decided to check myself in. He was going to a spa for the day. He says, need a wee bit of self care. And I thought, you can do that. Like you can be selfish and actually say, I need 4 hours by myself here. Because you know yourself, if you have 4 hours spare, especially if you have family and all, you're expected to go around to their houses and do different things. But some days you just need to lay about or go watch a match or do something on your own where because as you said, see if you don't, like you get to a stage where you burn out and you'll know about that too. Like I was saying to you, I burnt out there. I didn't do my podcast or anything. I love doing these, had the energy to do that. I just about had enough energy to go to work. And I was like, I'm burnt out. I need this week off, which was last
Yeah,
week. So as you said, if I didn't look after myself there, I just hammered, just burned away at it. The next thing, burnt out. And what you said then, as you said, as a father, a brother, a son, a partner, you're not used to anybody. So hearing that again about that, it is just noticing the signs, burnout's coming, book
of
a day
course,
off
mate.
work, or do whatever you need to do and get away by yourself. And just literally, as you said, it could be a coffee, could be anything. But what about the
I'll give you
self
a
care then?
go.
What have you
Go.
found with it?
Do you know, I training helps me a lot, mate.
Yeah,
Although you wouldn't think of it looking at me, but you know, I do like
good
the
shape, man.
like the train, mate. I walk my dog.
Yeah,
I'll say to the wife, I stick the headphones in, and you know, I'll go and walk my dog for a good while, or even I'll say to my wife, look, let's just have a little night away somewhere, or a
Yeah.
weekend, and put your phone down, or we try and talk, you know, if things have been difficult at work, or someone is going through a hard time or whatever. It's a massive thing to talk, mate, and especially, you know, with men, like it or lump it, mate, we struggle to talk, and the stigma around it at the moment
Yeah.
is stronger than what it was back when you lost your father and I lost mine.
Big time,
Do you know
mate.
what I mean?
I usually get laughed at for having panic attacks. You know, you're going, they're just like, it's not funny. It's fucking terrifying. But the boys would laugh at me. You know, I mean, you're having a panic attack. It's like, what the fuck? You know, and I remember putting a CD on in the car. It was like a fucking, they gave me it when I went to a counselling session. It was like a soothing CD, but it was fucking noises of the ocean and all. And I forgot to take it out for my mate got in the car, and he ripped the bag out of me. Like, you know, there's, as you say, we're now, it's a lot more normal. And I don't know, it might sound, I'm going to get laughed at for saying this probably, but you ever watch Love Island?
Hopefully your wife watches it, so
Yeah, I'm old.
background.
Like, why I'm saying that is there's a lad was on it called, there's a lad on it called Jax, right? Big
Yeah,
rugby player.
I've read a bit about that actually.
Mate, do you know what I mean? Big rugby player. You know, again, probably the manliest sport out there. Again, bar combat, like, but you know, in terms of football and rugby's the manly sport, like. And that boy, and again, even rugby players that he played with were all coming out. And sport eyes, like that is so fucking big. Like there's so many eyes on that program, and to see a man openly admit he wasn't himself, and a man that's meant to be a strong man, you know, in terms of the sport he plays and stuff, so big at me, and that's why it helps again when people do talk out about it, you know.
I mean, you could be 7 foot tall, 20 stone, and be the hardest man on the planet. See, if you have grief or you have mental health issues or anything like that, it will tear you down to nothing.
Big time, you know what I mean?
Look, people go through grief every day, and unfortunately, you know, we in this life we are going to lose loved ones. You know,
Yeah.
it's unfortunately it's inevitable, but it's. I just wanted the people to be able to speak to someone, mate. And look, I'll be honest with you now. This has been very therapeutic talking to you.
Yeah.
I'd never really heard all this before, to be fair,
Yeah.
mate. Never
Yeah.
really kind of talk. It's kind of bouncing off each other. You know, you've
Yeah.
had similar experiences, and you know, I'm sure you spoke to so many people that have, and
Yeah.
you know, it just you kind of feel like a weight is lifted off your shoulders.
Oh,
But
massively.
grief is something that, you know, nobody can get away from, because at some point in life that they obviously will lose someone, you know.
Yeah.
But
And
the problem
it's scary, yeah.
half to it, as they say.
It is, you know, and I've seen, as you said, the good thing. I say the good thing. If there's any positive out of it for me now that I'm sort of 16 years into it, you know, with that, you know, sort of the grieving process. When I do see lads or whatever, or anybody has lost a parent, you know, over the last year, 2 years, 3 years, you know, they'll be saying like, I don't know why I just break down and cry sometimes, and I'd nail them and say like, listen, that's a process. Like, you know, you'll just find one day you're sitting sweet, and then next thing you'll see something that reminds you, and bang, you're down again. And it's just one of them ones at times a healer. You know, you don't stop missing the person, but you learn to live with it. You know, and but it's just as you said, like you touched on, I said to you, Carmen, the five steps of grief. Like, you know, I'm going to look at that myself because I don't know whether I've accepted it at the same time. But I went through all the emotions, anger, you know, guilt, sadness, you know, the whole lot. And it's just as you said, people watching it will see there is that stage. That's how I felt, and it's just time, you know.
Yeah, it is time, mate. And you know, I don't think we'll ever fully 100% accept it. You know, you kind of it'll always be there. But as you said, you know, time, you learn to accept it a little bit more as time goes on. You know,
Definitely.
it does, and I can vouch for that. Like 11 years, and you know, you kind of think a lot differently. I'm sure you do now. You have a son, you know, and I have a daughter, and I just kind of look at the positives now. What did I pick up from my dad? What did I pick up from him? Like his personality, the way, you know, the way he was with people is he was a gentleman. You and he was just someone that just got on with everybody, mate. He just got on with everyone, and he was an unbelievable dad. Like, I couldn't have asked for anything better. And I'm sure most lads will sit here and say my dad's the best dad in the world,
Yeah.
But he really was. And when I look at my daughter now, I wish I could have met him, but
Yeah.
I like to think I can take a lot of things from my dad and hopefully give her a similar life to what him and my mum give me. Like,
Fantastic. And I mean, if you go right to the very beginning, as you said, like, you were adopted. So, like, I kind of was always really afraid that I go down the same roads my dad did, but I haven't even, I've never went near any of them. So, you've got a strong household there yourself, you're married, so even to look at that, the side of things is, for me anyway, is a big win, like, in it, but you haven't done again, because, sometimes that it's passed on, like my dad had a gambling trait, for instance. So we were in Porthouse there during the week, and my missus went on the 10p machines, no problem, that obviously. But the baby then went over, let's say the baby's 3 years old, and he was nosy, and that's like, right, over to the basketball, because I'm really like, oh shit, please don't let him see these machines, he might fucking see the lights, whatever, because the gambling team might be in the family, right, to him over to the basketball, fucking, and it's again, it's stuff like that. You're going, fuck, I hope he doesn't get them traits. If he gets an AMN, he'll do okay. But yeah, it's mad, like.
You do, and you'll not even realize, mate, like the things that you do with your little boy.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, like, you'll have picked these up off your dad. And mate, that, as I said to you off camera, like the person, the way that you're doing these podcasts, mate, and the way that you are with your businesses and everything's doing really well. And I always see you with your son and stuff. You picked up an awful lot of good things from him, obviously. And I think it's brilliant what you're doing. I really do. And when we spoke about coming on this, I was a bit apprehensive and a bit nervous, but I'm glad I've done it. I am glad I spoke. And like I said, I just want people to just not to be afraid to not to be afraid to experience grief, but don't be afraid to speak about it, because you need to, because it is a tough road, and you will not even know that you're going through it at that point.
Big time, and you're talking about your friend there, obviously, Preston. It can get too much for people, as well, and and that's a danger of not speaking sometimes too. I'm not saying that's what happened with your friend, but again, if, as you said, like, if you're talking about it, does, like, again, me getting off this today, I'll feel a lot later, because again, you're talking about old feelings and things, and things that sort of harbor about, and then again picking up tips like that 5 steps of grief and stuff. There's as I said, that's what happens when you talk.
Yeah, of course, mate, of course. And obviously now, being a dad, you just want to be like the best possible person that you can be for your son or your daughter. And you just want to be an example.
And talking about that, mate, you're away, like, at the minute as well. So you're living in Dubai. Sorry. What's it like out there? Have you got a support network around you or anything, or as you said, nights away with the missus or anything? And how do you get on with that?
Yeah, we'll do a few nights away with the missus, and got a good friendship group and stuff out here, and it's really good for the kids, and it's a massive expat community out here. I mean, I think Dubai's 75-80% expats, and then the rest are local nationals. So people from all walks of life and stuff out here, mate. It is really interesting, and you see how different cultures bring up their kids, and how how things are done. But yeah, it's going really well, mate. We'll be here hopefully for another couple of years. Might move back home one day.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, it is really good, mate. And being a dad and having gone through what I did with mine, I'm just hoping I can take all the positives from it. And like, if anyone, I don't know who'll watch this or anything like that, but if anyone wants to message privately or ask any questions or anything like that, feel free. Like I said, I'm pretty much an open book now.
Top
if
man,
I can help, if I can help one person, mate, I'll do whatever.
Mate, that's what it's all about. top man. And I think we'll actually leave it on that note, mate.
No, I appreciate that, Murray. Listen, thanks very much for your time, mate, and I hope the podcast keeps moving forward, and we get some more good stuff on there.
Appreciate it, mate. And again, thanks for coming on. As I said, I was initially going to do a bit of a group one with 2 other friends, but I thought do them separately because they're all different journeys, and there'll be a lot more in it. Again, where if we stick another 2 people on, your story gets halved, so that's what I thought. We'll do a 3-parter. Yours is the first one, obviously, because it's very similar to mine, but again, mate, appreciate your time. You're a legend, and when you're home, mate, we'll catch up.
100%, mate. Take it easy, Murray. Thanks very much.
Man. Take care, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.